You ever have one of those breakups that just shatters you? The kind that leaves you feeling small, invisible, like you weren't even a part of the story. That was me. It wasn't just a breakup. It was a betrayal that hit me like a ton of bricks. We were together for 3 years, planning a future, or so I thought. Then one day she was gone. No real explanation, just a cold, "It's not working." A week later I saw her with someone else. Someone she'd told me was just a friend. The pain was sharp, but what followed was worse. A feeling of complete powerlessness. For weeks I was a ghost. I replayed every moment, every promise, every shared laugh, and it all felt like a lie. I was angry, hurt, and honestly, I wanted her to feel even a fraction of the pain she'd caused me. The thought of revenge started as a whisper, a dark little fantasy. What could I do? Post our private messages, tell everyone what she did, but every scenario I imagined just felt cheap. It would make me look bitter and wouldn't really fix anything. It wouldn't heal the wound she'd left. It would just pour salt on it for both of us. One particularly rough night, I was scrolling through old photos, torturing myself, when I stumbled upon a picture from our first anniversary. We were at a little local charity run, both looking sweaty but so incredibly happy. I remembered how proud I was that day, not just of finishing the race, but of us. And that's when it hit me. The best revenge isn't about tearing someone else down. It's about building yourself back up, so high that they can't even touch you anymore. The next morning, I threw out all the junk food in my apartment. I put on my running shoes, the same ones from that photo, and I went for a run. It was awful. My lungs burned, my legs felt like lead, and every step was a struggle. I barely made it a mile. But as I stood there gasping for air, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. A flicker of control. It was a pain I was choosing, a challenge I was setting for myself. It was my fight, not hers. That first run became a daily ritual. Then I started going to the gym. I replaced late-night scrolling with early morning workouts. I stopped thinking about what she was doing and started focusing on what I was doing. I learned about nutrition, started cooking healthy meals instead of ordering takeout. The physical changes were obvious. I was getting stronger, leaner. But the mental change was the real transformation. My mind, which had been a chaotic storm of sadness and anger, started to clear. The gym became my sanctuary, a place where the only person I was competing with was the guy I was yesterday. I also threw myself back into my passions. I'd always wanted to learn the guitar, but I'd always made excuses. Not enough time, I'd say. Well, now I had time. I bought a cheap acoustic guitar and started watching online tutorials. My fingers were clumsy at first, the chord sounded terrible, but I stuck with it. The frustration of learning a new skill was a welcome distraction. Slowly, painfully, the clumsy noises started to sound like music. I was creating something that was entirely mine. A few months passed. I reconnected with old friends I had drifted away from during the relationship. We went hiking, tried new restaurants, had game nights. I was laughing again, genuinely laughing. I realized how much of myself I had lost, how my world had shrunk to just include her. Now, my world was expanding again, filled with new experiences and supportive people who valued me for me. One weekend I decided to volunteer at a local animal shelter. I'd always loved dogs, and I figured spending time with them would be therapeutic. It was more than that. Seeing these animals, many of whom had been abandoned or mistreated, and yet were still so full of love and hope, it put my own heartbreak into perspective. Taking care of them, walking them, and seeing their tails wag with pure joy gave me a profound sense of purpose. About 6 months after the breakup, I was at a coffee shop downtown sketching in a notebook, another new hobby I'd picked up. The door opened and she walked in. My heart did a weird little flip, a ghost of its old reaction. She was with the same guy. They saw me. For a second I felt a flash of that old anxiety. But then, something amazing happened. I just didn't care. There was no anger, no bitterness, no desperate need for her to see how much I'd changed. She looked at me, and I could see the surprise in her eyes. I probably looked very different from the broken person she'd left behind. I just gave her a small, polite nod and a calm smile, and then I turned back to my sketchbook. In that moment, I understood. The ultimate revenge wasn't making her regret leaving me. The ultimate revenge was reaching a point where her leaving me was completely irrelevant to my happiness. My revenge wasn't a single act. It was the hundreds of small, positive decisions I made for myself, day after day. It was choosing the gym over the couch, choosing a guitar over stalking her social media, choosing my friends over my loneliness, choosing to build a life so full and vibrant that there was simply no room left for the bitterness to live. I didn't tear her down. I built myself up into someone she no longer had the power to hurt. And that is a victory that tastes so much sweeter than any petty revenge ever could. So if you're going through something similar, if you're feeling lost and powerless after a breakup, I want you to hear this. The desire for revenge is normal, but don't let it consume you. Don't focus your energy on them. Focus it on you. Find that one thing, that one small step you can take for yourself, and do it. Then do it again tomorrow. Build yourself into a person you are proud of. That's the real win. That's the revenge that truly matters, living a fantastic life. Thanks so much for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content. It really helps a lot. See you in the next one.